I'm turning 23 in a few days. I'm not really feeling excited about it. I feel like it's the first age where I really feel old. It's not necessarily feeling old, it's just the age that opens up the possibility and the realization of getting older for me, because I've always felt young, and I feel like there's a huge difference between knowing that you're going to get older and really understanding the reality of it. Because this year, I never imagined turning 23. I never imagined having this birthday. I was thinking today how it's so strange how pretty soon, or already, I'll start to have some years to look back on. I'll start to have a past, because for the first few years of my early 20s, the only thing I had to look back on was my childhood. That's the only thing that's in my past. And childhood is kind of easy in some ways, because when you look back on it as far as regret, you feel like, oh, I was powerless as a child. I didn't have control over my own present. Like, I didn't have control over the decisions or anything. So there's a little bit of freedom there. So it's kind of easy to not have regret. But pretty soon, the older I get, maybe starting now, I'll have a few years to look back on. And when I look back, there's more possibility for regret. And as I get older and older and older, it's so strange to think that I'll have more years behind me. I'll have more of a past. Weird. I feel so much pressure at 23 and some panic that I haven't figured myself out yet, and I haven't solved my problems yet. Like, I haven't been able to overcome a lot of my flaws, or, those things. So I'll give an example, like my fear of people. That's something that I've been working on and trying to conquer for the last at least 3 or 4 years. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm turning 23 and I've made some progress, but I haven't gotten anywhere close to where I want to be. And I feel like I'm running out of time, because I know I have my whole life ahead of me. But if I don't solve these problems of, like, my fear of people, or my fear of new situations, or my, like, internal processes that I have that are toxic and unhealthy, if I can't get control over that and solve it, it's going to affect my future. It's going to affect all the decisions I make, and I'm probably going to end up having a lot of regrets. So I just feel so much pressure to have solved the problems that I have. And I haven't been able to conquer them. I haven't been able to, like, be fully self-accepting and fully confident and able to be, like, I'm nowhere near the person I want to be. That's how I can simplify that thought. I'm nowhere near the person I want to be. I don't have the characteristics that I want to have. I haven't grown enough. And I just feel like at 23, I'm supposed to be farther along. Or this is the pressure I put on myself, that I should be farther along, because, again, who I am right now is going to affect all the decisions I make in my future, and that's going to affect my future. I'm in a cow pasture right now, sitting in the middle of nature, in the middle of nowhere. And on my drive over, I was asking myself, I wonder what my future self is going to think of me now. Like, when 5 years in the future, what am I going to think of me right now? And I just was trying to come up with some guesses. And one thing that came to my mind, this is kind of unrelated to the other thoughts, was I think I'm going to think that I had it really, really good and really, really easy right now, at my age now. And I feel like that takes a lot of, not humility, but just, because it's hard for me to hear right now. Because, like, often I think to myself, oh, I have problems and I'm struggling with things and stuff like that. But looking at it objectively and just knowing, I think, where I'm going to be in the future, I'm going to look back and think life was so good right now. I think life is very good right now, but I think that in the future, I'm going to think about how I didn't fully appreciate how good I have it. Like, I need to fully appreciate my youth and my health. Even though my health isn't even perfect, it's the best it probably ever will be right now. Yeah, and I feel like I don't even know exactly what that thought means anyway. Like, I need to think more about how good my life is and how much I'm taking for granted. The other thing I could think of that I can imagine my future self thinking back about me now is kind of the way that I feel about myself a couple years ago, even just a year ago. And that is just looking at myself with, like, understanding and empathy and all of that, but also thinking, you have no idea. You have no idea what's coming. Like, it's amazing, insane how much you learn month by month in adult life and how much you don't know. It's incredible. I do feel like I'm floundering around right now, but I'm really gonna see that in the future, looking back at myself, just like, you have no idea what's coming. There's so much you're gonna learn. I had a realization the past week that I wish I knew earlier, or I wish I thought of it earlier, and I'm actually very embarrassed I didn't realize it earlier. But I realized that I think too much, and that it doesn't matter how much I think. It doesn't matter how much time alone I spend thinking about my life, thinking about the problems, thinking about my future, trying to make plans, trying to come to conclusions, trying to figure things out. I realized my brain is only 22 years old right now. And it doesn't matter how much it thinks and tries to think and think and think. It just does not know more than a 22-year-old brain knows. Like, I really, truly thought that if I thought long enough, I could figure things out. Like, for example, feeling lost. Like, I feel very lost in life. And I thought that if I thought long enough about how I feel lost and how can I find direction and how can I figure my life out, I thought I would realize something. But I don't think I can. I really don't, because my brain won't be able to help itself. My brain can't help itself with its own problems. So I finally came to the conclusion that I really do need to make it a big priority to start reading again, read a lot, written by wise people. And what I really want is to find mentors. And I've always wanted to find mentors, but I don't know where to find them. But I do know I need to learn from older people. And just to kind of defend myself, I've always known that. I've always known to listen to older people, what they have to say, and learn, and I have done that my entire life. I've read a lot of books. I've listened to a lot of TED Talks. I've done a lot of listening to older people, but I also thought that I would be able to solve my own problems. But I can't. And I have to focus again on not thinking so much, because what I learned is that my brain goes in circles. When I am sitting alone thinking out in nature, my brain will go in circles where it will come to the problem, try to think of the solutions, try to think of things I can do, and then go back to the problem, and then just kind of circle around, and I never come to a conclusion. So I need to get new perspectives, and I suppose that's where travel comes in as well. I need to travel again. I need to gain new perspectives and widen my horizons and meet new people, and again, that is what I have been doing, but I need to do it more and make it a priority. I've been thinking so much about how to spend my days and what is the best way to live life and what is the best lifestyle, because I've got options. There are several, but the two that I've been looking at a lot is choosing to go after the achievement route and be active constantly, doing things constantly, just having a very, very active, achievement-oriented, goal-oriented lifestyle. I think truly this is how I feel right now, is that I think that's the lifestyle that a lot of people value here, at least in America, is the achievement, goal-oriented, active, constantly doing. And I have to admit that is the lifestyle that I myself somehow look up to too, because I think it's subconscious and even just ingrained in me that I feel like that is a valuable life. When you have a college degree, if you have achieved like a master's, and if you are making a lot of money and you're successful, and if you have achieved all of these things, that's just how I've, I guess, been raised to feel that is a good life and that's how you're supposed to live. Even though a lot of people disagree. And the funny thing is, I also disagree. It's funny because I think you can feel one way internally, but think something else. So how I actually feel is that I want right now a more peaceful, minimal, zen lifestyle. One that's more calm and slower, where you really take in the moments and you live in the present and you focus on the small, tiny things like nature, and you just spend a lot of time in nature. That's the lifestyle that I actually want. But I've been really struggling to try to feel the meaning and worth in that. Because when I live my days like that, or try to live days like that, all I can feel is guilt, and also feeling like I'm not as good, and I can't think of the word, but just not as good as the people around me who are in the achievement mode, the people who are going to college, doing classes, this, that, just constantly go. It's really hard for me to attach value to the way that I want to live. And it's very easy for me to feel guilty and lazy. Like if I choose to spend a that day being peaceful and appreciating life and living in the moment and being out in nature and, spending a lot of time alone and thinking. I just feel like it's been so ingrained in me to feel like that's laziness and that somehow I'm not doing it right. And also struggling to feel like other people would ever look at me and feel like I'm worthy with the life that I have. When people ask me what I do, I can't tell them I'm a doctor or a lawyer or, one of those big jobs. I don't know, I feel like I've been thinking about that the most right now, is trying to find the value and the worth in the lifestyle that I want to have and stop guilt tripping myself so much for what I actually want versus seeking lots and lots of success and achievement.